Season's bleedings, it's me, the Necrofessor, wishing you happy lumps this season. You know, it can be rather difficult finding the holiday spirit if you don't have the proper ghost hunting equipment. And it seems this time year everybody acts as if they just got out of the insane asylum. However, with an open heart and a surgically implanted twinkle in your eye, you too can experience joy with the tactical joy laser satellite that we launched the other night. Abby, how much longer before we can blow stuff up?
How should I know? I was stuck here while you loaded up the airship and ran off screaming something about shooting joy at people. It sounded gross.
Oh, right. Well, since we have time, I'm just going to send off some presents to my constituents. Abby, clear my schedule. I'm feeling jolly.
Ugh.
Enclosed is my old medical armband I used during the Multiverse War. I used it often to employ emergency painkillers and lethal injections to my patients. This one contains remnants of some kind of blue liquid. I forgot what's inside. Enclosed is a shrunken head. His name is unknown to me, and he won't tell me. Maybe you can get him to talk. Enclosed is baby's first Necronomicon, with glowing power emitting from a book bound in doll flesh. This little tome is perfect for the budding cultist in your life. Enclosed is a teddy bear that was once given to me. Since then, the bear has now found a pumpkin mask and gained razor blades for claws. A warning, this bear will cut you. Necrofessor. P.S. It's probably possessed, now that I think about it. Enclosed is a little lantern with my image inside to always remind you of that time you got the plague. Also enclosed is the plague. I can't find the cork. Oh. Enclosed is a decoy spell book for hiding your personal effects. I took the liberty of filling it with the basics, and threw in some extra things, such as a couple extra more candles and a chicken's foot. Enclosed is Little Miss Gun for a Face, a prototype doll from Necromancers Unlimited that did not test well in focus groups for some reason. Enclosed is a fairy that wandered into my lab. I despise these creatures, always waltzing in during my alchemic research and crapping their fairy dust everywhere. I pulled off one of its legs and leave it on the windowsill as a warning to others. In the meantime, I harvest its fairy dust and sell it to airship pirates. Good riddance. Oh, what's that? Huh? What's that? You want me to let you go? You want me to let you go? Sweet. Shut up! Well, that should do for now. Abby, how much time before we can use the tactical joy laser satellite?
I still don't know that.
Oh, well. So I guess we have time then. Time for a new segment!
New segment?
That's right, a new segment. One that I like to call Dear Necrofessor. The first question of Dear Necrofessor is, where do we send questions? Well, you can ask questions in the comments section, but you'd probably be better off sending it to dearnecrofessor@gmail.com. There, I will look over your inquiries and answer the ones that I find most interesting. Dear Necrofessor, who done it? And with what weapon? Well, who done it? Huh. Well, let's think about it. Well, it's simply obvious. You see, it was the corpse himself. He killed himself, resurrected himself using necromancy so he could claim the insurance money and then seal it into an offshore account. Ah ha ha ha, it was so obvious. And with what? With what weapon? Why, the pure bureaucracy! The freaking system, I tell you! That's the weapon! I hope I answered your question. Dear Necrofessor, how do you lure carnivorous arbor specter to the interdimensional portal it came from while it's still open? Asking for a friend. Of course you are. Well, an arbor specter from an interdimensional portal while it's still open. Oh, geez. This sounds like a time-sensitive inquiry, I would say. To be perfectly honest, I think that, I don't really know much about tree spirits, but did you know that in another dimension, that they walk around on legs and they use us for notebooks and toilet paper? I don't know how to answer this question. How do you lure a carnivorous arbor specter? Well, since it's an arbor specter, the only thing that can really come to mind is that since it is in specter form, you could just seal it into a fetish, and I would say something along the lines of, well, toilet paper, because it's its natural form, and then you could just throw it straight into that portal until the entire roll unravels. That's just the first thing that comes to mind. Hopefully that helps. When did your face get so bad you sewed your mask on? Sewed my mask on? I didn't sew my mask on. I just don't really take it off all that often. Look, I can take it off whenever I want. See, I even remember where the strap is and everything. That buckle, I think, is up here somewhere. It's not really a buckle, it's more of a thing that I just kind of bolted together because I had this thought that I wasn't gonna take it off for a while. It's stuck! It's stuck! It's stuck! It's stuck! Boxers or briefs? Space diapers. Unless you have the skull of your enemy to make into a codpiece. How do you drink with your mask on? Oh, I have an assemblage of little tiny holes underneath my mask that all do all sorts of different things. But I have one that I attach with a straw to drink things out of. Dear Necrofessor, how are you able to substitute boiler holy water steam in the pulsion of technological advances in dimensional airship travel? Holy water steam, huh? Well, taking a trip to some of the higher celestial planes, are we? Well, I don't really know much about using holy water in the old boiler setup, but I will give you a tip. Out there in the Aetherverse, the very core construct of most of these airships run on a form of aether, being the fact that this fifth element can be injected into other forms of alternative energy and other fuel sources as well, and using various dynamics such as pressure and heat. This aether interacts with the fuel source and amplifies it, makes it last longer, and all sorts of other unusual properties, even making things go boom. So, I'm not necessarily sure of what would happen if you mixed holy water with aether. I never thought to try it, to be honest. Well, unusual experiment. Let me know how that turns out for you. Make sure you stand back a good distance, though. Necrofessor, what are the contents of your pockets? What's in my pockets? Nothing really. What else do you have in your pockets? I just got what everybody else has. It's just the same old stuff, really, to me. Bones. Where do rabies come from? Oh, rabies. Well, they're part of the Lisa virus. And usually it's dogs that contract it. And the dogs contract it through the dog bites in the salivary glands or other mucous membranes. It sort of attacks the peripheral nerves and creates irreparable damage. It can create convulsions, discordance, unusual excitement, fear of water, all kinds of unusual and sad things for the poor doggy. Because once contracting rabies, the prognosis is almost always death. Something weird to note, in the South Americas, most humans that contract rabies are typically contracted by bat bites, the little things that fly through the night. So, I think that rabies comes from just another form of pathogens that spread from one species to another. I hope that answers your question of where rabies... No, babies. Where do babies come from? Oh, where do babies come from? Oh. Sex. Let's see here. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? An airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow, African or European? You know what? Never mind. Let's just go ahead and run a simulation, shall we? Unladen means it doesn't have any feathers or flesh, right? All right. Abby, how fast was that?
About 30 miles an hour.
And there you have it. Dear Necrofessor, what was a more significant discovery? The harnessing of fire or ice? And why? Well, the harnessing of these two elements is a tricky matter, but some have been able to pull it off. I would definitely say that fire is something a bit more versatile as far as usage goes. We still haven't quite gotten around to the cold fusion era ourselves. So, I'm just going to give you a pure demonstration, since it is the cold holiday season, with this, my own personal fusion ray that I jerry-rigged together last night. However, I don't have a positronic mainframe to attach the various components inside, so I'm gonna have Abby's cyberbrain do it for me. Hey Abby, let me borrow your cyberbrain and stick it into this gun.
Don't you dare jack my cyberbrain and put it in that gun. Hey, cut it out!
Don't worry, Abby, this is for science! There we go. Okay. How's it feel?
Like I want to shoot everything. Mostly you.
Splendid! Hold that thought. 3, 2, 1...